Hey guys, happy Thursday. Miss Gato here with another virtual art lesson for you guys. Alright, so today is Thursday, which means it is our craft day. We are going to continue on with our hurricane theme since it is the beginning of hurricane season. We're going to continue on with our lessons that are focused around that theme. Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to be creating our own hurricane eye. Okay, but before we do that, we're going to get into some stretching, and then after we're going to listen to a read-along story about hurricanes. All right, so let's go ahead and start our stretching. Okay, so go ahead, stretch to your left, stretch to your right, stretch up and down, up and down. One more big one, up and down. Give yourself a big hug, squeeze. Take a deep breath in and relax. Way to go, guys. All right, so up next, go ahead and listen to this hurricane story, and then we'll come back and talk about the craft that we're going to create and the materials that you're going to need to make it. All right, enjoy.
Hurricane by David Weisner. I can't find Hannibal anywhere, Mom, David said. I thought he'd be home when we got back from the store. I'm sure Hannibal is all right, Mom answered. Cats know more about storms than people do. But if it will make you feel better, why don't you and George go look for him while I put the groceries away? Don't go too far from the house, though. Your father will help you look as soon as he's finished securing everything in the yard. There he is, David exclaimed. He and George peered through the gaps between the strips of tape they had put on the storm door. A thoroughly wet Hannibal peered indignantly back at them. Let's get him inside before the wind blows him away, George said. Could the wind really be strong enough to blow Hannibal away? David asked. Well, the radio said we could expect sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, gusting to 90 any time now, and the hurricane is still 50 miles off the coast. Look at the leaves out there. It looks like a green blizzard, George answered. David listened to the walls of the house creaking against the wind. If it's like this now, what is it going to be like when the hurricane hits? Suddenly the lights went out. Nobody panic, their dad called from the kitchen. The electric lines must be down. Hang in there, boys. We're on our way with flashlights and candles. They had supper by the fireplace that evening. It felt safe with everybody together, even though there were creaks and groans and sometimes great roaring sounds coming from outside. The hurricane was in full force. David and George took a hurricane lamp to bed with them. The storm had begun to ease. Maybe the eye is passing over us, George said. I'd like to be in one of those weather planes. The ones that fly into the eye of the hurricane where it's all calm and peaceful? Yeah, David said, though he wasn't so certain he liked flying into a hurricane. I wonder where the birds are now, and the squirrels. I bet the squirrels are holed up in their trees, but I've read about birds being blown thousands and thousands of miles, maybe even clear across the Atlantic, George said. Do you think anything awful has happened outside? David asked. Who knows? We'll see tomorrow, George replied. The next morning, only one elm tree was standing near the corner of the yard. The day before, there had been two. The down tree was lying across the neighbor's lawn. Look at that, David said. It could have hit Mr. Wilbur's house, and we didn't even hear it fall. Wow, this is great, George said. They circled the tree. It looks like a sleeping giant. Look at all those big limbs and branches. It's like a jungle. Let's play safari. We never had a jungle to play safari in before. David didn't wait for an answer. He was already climbing the fallen tree. David fearlessly led the expedition into the very heart of the jungle. Stalking the mighty leopard. That afternoon, they rode the 7 seas with George at the helm, while David searched the horizon for pirate ships. All the next day and the day after that, they journeyed to the stars and beyond. Sometimes they just sat and enjoyed the view. The tree was a private place, big enough for secret dreams, small enough for shared adventure. What do we do this afternoon? George asked. Well, I don't care, David answered. It just feels good being here. Then it happened. They woke one morning to an ear-splitting roar and the sight of men advancing on the tree with chainsaws. How could they do this? David asked. It's our tree. It's our tree, but it's in Mr. Wilbur's yard. I guess that's how they could do it. But they didn't even tell us, David said, feeling as miserable as he had ever felt in his life. It was a great tree, said George. Yeah, David agreed. A great tree. David and George spent the rest of the day sitting under the surviving elm, watching the men haul away their tree. In the late afternoon, the sky grew dark and thunder rumbled in the distance. Hey guys, Dad called. There's going to be a storm. The wind's kicking up. Come on inside before it starts to rain. David and George looked up at the old elm. This is a great tree too, David said. Yeah, George agreed. And if it fell, it would land in our yard.
Welcome Back, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that read along story. Now we're going to jump into our hurricane craft. Okay, so before we get started on our actual craft, we're going to go ahead and go over the materials that we're going to need for this activity. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, so we're not going to need too many things. I am going to ask that you guys print out the template that I send you through email, so your caretaker, whoever you live with, should have access to these. So if you can print this out, that would be super helpful. If you don't have a printer or you didn't have a chance, you can go ahead and just click on the link and then try to draw it on your own and then use that. Okay, so we're going to need this. We're going to need a blue sheet of construction paper. We're going to need some glue. For this activity, I do recommend the liquid glue. We're going to need some cotton. And we're going to need a pair of scissors. Okay, so again, pretty basic materials. So go ahead and take the next minute to gather your materials, and then we'll meet right back here to get started on our craft. Welcome back, guys. I hope that you were able to gather your materials fairly easily. We're gonna go ahead and get started with our craft. All right, so the first step in creating our hurricane is going to be to cut our template out. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab our scissors and we're gonna cut around the different parts of the template. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cut from the outside towards the inside. So this first layer is going to be like a swirl. Okay, and I'll show it to you as soon as I cut it out. Okay, and there's only 3 parts to this template, so it's going to be the eye, the actual middle of it, and then 2 like swirls. So here's one. Now I'm going to go into the next layer, which is going to be another swirl. Cut that one out. Okay, it's a little tedious towards the end of it because it's pretty thin, so just be careful when you're cutting the edges. If you need help cutting, make sure to ask someone around you to help you out. Okay, almost done with the second swirl. And the middle of it should be super easy. It's just like an oval shape. Okay, so here's our second swirl. Okay, and now going for the middle part. Just this one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out. This looks like an oval. Looks like a little egg. So now that we have our 3 components, we are ready to assemble. Alright, so take the next minute to finish cutting out your 3 parts of the eye of the hurricane, and then we'll meet right back here to go on to our next step. Welcome back, guys. Now that we've cut out our template, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling it. So we're gonna go and grab our blue sheet of construction paper. I'm gonna lay it down flat. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the center of the template. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some glue. Okay, make sure there's no glue on the top. Okay, I'm gonna add some glue, and I'm going to glue it right in the center, all right, of my blue construction paper. So I'm going to go ahead and press it down and put it right smack in the middle. All right, then I'm going to grab my 2 swirls and I'm going to place them around the eye. So you might need to play around with it a little bit to find the right position for it. Alright, but once you get it, okay, open it up a bit just here. Okay, so I found the right placement for mine. I'm gonna go ahead, well, I just moved it a bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and hold it up now. Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead now and glue it down. So I'm gonna put it down flat again, and I'm gonna glue it. So I'm grabbing my glue now. I'm gonna add some glue to it. Okay, remember the edges get a little tedious because they're so thin. Alrighty, I'm gonna place this right here, right around. And now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my other swirl and glue it as well. So I'm going to add some glue to it. Okay. And then I'll bring it up to the screen so that you are able to see it. Okay, just around the eye, around the center. Okay, I'm going to press down so that it sticks correctly. Okay. So here we have it. Alright, take the next minute to go ahead and glue your template on, and then we'll meet right back here to finish up and add some touches to our hurricane. Welcome back, guys. It is time to add our finishing touches to our hurricane. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and start using our cotton. So we're going to use kind of the same method that we used earlier on in the week with our rain clouds. So we're going to go ahead and kind of stretch out our cotton ball, and you can rip some pieces off. And we're going to start adding them to our template. So our template is here as a guide. So we're going to put glue over our template, and we're going to start placing our cotton along our template, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding some glue around it, just over the template. Okay, so make sure not to get it on the blue construction paper, just on the template that we glued on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead again, grab my cotton. Okay, you can break it up. Okay, and mold it to your template. Okay, another piece, stretch it out thin for the thinner parts. Okay, I'm gonna keep going around. Gonna add some more here. Okay, so I did my first swirl. Okay, and I'm gonna continue on to the other one. Remember, again, do not put glue on the blue construction paper because then it's just gonna be a big white cloud and we don't want that. Okay, you wanna see the difference between the template and the water. Okay, gonna add some more glue here and some to the center. Okay, so the center can be a big, remember it's an oval shape, so you can just use one whole cotton ball and just stretch it out and shape it to the oval. Okay, I'm gonna place that one in the center. Push it down like that. Okay, and I'm gonna finish up my last swirl. And I'm gonna make it really thin just so that you can differentiate between the two swirls and the center. Okay. Remember, if you want to make your hurricane a little bit bigger, you can go ahead and get creative and add some more swirls around it. I'll show you how in just a minute. As soon as I finish up with this one, I'll go ahead and show you what I mean. Alrighty, so this is our completed hurricane with the basic template. But if you want to add some more swirls coming out of it, you can go ahead and grab your glue, make another swirl coming out this way. Okay, and maybe another one up here. Okay, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some more cotton to those areas so that you can see. So you can make it your hurricane as big as you like, as big as it fits on the paper. Or you can leave it just the way it is on the template. That's completely up to you. Okay, I'm gonna leave it just the way it is now with the extra layer that I added onto it. I'm not gonna go any further. And then I'll bring this up to the screen so that you guys are able to see my finished product. Okay, gonna add a few more pieces of cotton. And then my hurricane will be complete. Alrighty. So here is my hurricane, my finished product. I hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson and that you're able to recreate it at home. Remember, you can add as many details as you'd like to it. If you want to add some green around to represent the land, you can go ahead and do that. You can change up the colors if you want to add some red. Whatever you guys want, it's completely up to you. Just make sure that you take pictures, take videos, tag us on social media. We love to see your work. And if you want, you can bring it to your next Zoom meeting to share with your friends. All right, guys, I'll see you next time, and I wish you well.